Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Life with Ali. So this video is my sister's request, and in today's video I'm going to answer all your questions about IELTS, all the basic questions that people usually have about giving an IELTS exam. Since I recently gave my IELTS this year in August 2020, I thought I'll share my experience so it becomes easy for you to take your IELTS exam too. I took the computer-based general training IELTS examination for immigration purposes. Let's go ahead and let me answer all these questions for you. So there are two IELTS examiners. The first one is IDP and the other one is a British Council. Both these examiners follow the same guidelines. There is absolutely no difference between how the exam is conducted between both of these examiners. The exam format is the same, everything is the same. The only thing is that IDP is Australian and British Council is British, but both these examiners use a wide range of accents. So, examiner can be from any part of the world, and he can also use an American accent or an Australian accent or a British accent. It's not necessary that if you're taking your exam from IDP, your examiner or your the person taking your speaking or your listening is going to be in the same accent. So, it's nothing like that. They follow absolutely the same format. There is no difference. Go ahead and take the exam from either of the two based on your convenience, which test center is closest to your home. So you can decide based on that. Another thing is that they follow the same marking criteria and the same band score descriptors. So there's nothing like from one examiner it's going to be easier to score, and from the other examiner it's going to be difficult or hard to score. So it is exactly the same. The next one is, what is the difference between the IELTS general training and the IELTS academic? Now, the IELTS general training is mostly for people who want to take the exam for immigration purposes or any other employment purposes, or if any employer requires their employees to take the exam for any job application, etc. Then you would have to give your general training IELTS. And the academic IELTS is for admission into any college or university, or if you're in the middle of application to any university, then you have to give your academic IELTS. So students who want to go ahead to study will give their IELTS academic. Both these IELTS academic and IELTS general are very similar in format. The only difference will be in the content of the writing and the reading. Marking or any other formats are the same. Your speaking and your listening sections are exactly the same. There's no difference between general and academic. I know that a lot of people have this question that which exam is easier? Is academic easier or is general easier? I've heard a lot of people who've taken the test say that, and in my own experience, since I've given both the exams, the general training is easier than the academic, because I feel that it is a little bit more easier to score in your general training exam than your academic. But again, it is very hard to say which one is easier, because different students and different people find different topics more easy or more difficult. So but personally for me, I feel the general training is easier than your IELTS academic. But yet there's not a major difference. It's a slight difference in the type of essay you may get, or the content in reading. Overall there's hardly any difference. The next question is, where should you study from? I study from these Cambridge books. They have an electronic version also, which is available online. You can download it, or you can also buy a book. I studied from the Cambridge 12, 13, 14, which was enough. And another place where I studied from was YouTube. So there is this channel called E2 Language. I personally thought it was of great help. They have some amazing videos. It has helped me in my preparation of the exam a lot. So do check it out. I'll put the link of their YouTube channel in the description below, so you can definitely check it out. I did the practice tests from these Cambridge books, and I looked up most of these videos of E2 language from their YouTube page. That's how I prepared. Next is how many days prior, how many months prior should you start preparing for your IELTS? Now IELTS is like an English exam, so I think depends on the time that you have in hand, but I feel a month max to max. Like if you really want to do a lot of practice and a lot of preparation, but but I mean, if a person who is fluent in English and English is not at all a problem when it comes to any section, reading, writing, listening, or speaking, then I feel 2 to 3 weeks should be fine if you sit and practice every day. The next question is should you take the IELTS paper-based test or should you take the computer-based test? This year, the exam that I gave was a computer-based exam. I personally feel that the computer-based exam was much easier than a paper-based exam for many reasons. The first thing is that filling in answers becomes very easy in your computer-based. The reading section has this copy paste function where you can where you directly just have to find the missing word and you copy it from the text and you paste it as your answer, so you know for sure that your answer is a part of the text that is given to you. So reading became very easy like that. They have this highlight function where you can highlight the text that you feel is important, that you can easily refer back to after reading the answers. So that again is a very nice feature that they have in the computer based. The listening section too becomes very easy because as in when you're listening to a word, you can type it down, or if you're not comfortable typing it down at that time, then you can always write it down. They give you a pen and paper, so you can write down your answers and then quickly type it back in the time that they give you after each section. And another very helpful thing that I found was that in the writing task, you have a word limit for both the tasks, and in a computer based exam it counts your words for you, so you exactly know whether you're exceeding your word limit or you're within your word limit, which in a paper based becomes very difficult to tell because you have to then count all your words. I personally felt that taking the computer based exam was way more easier for me. I could finish my exam, like I could time my exam properly and finish each section in time, and I wasn't running out of time. So yeah, for me it's a computer based exam. How many days does the result come out in? So since I gave my exam in Dubai, the result comes out relatively faster. If you take the computer based exam, the result comes out relatively faster. I got my result within 5 working days. What is the duration of each section, and what is the duration of the whole exam? So the speaking will be for around 20 minutes, writing will be for 1 hour, reading will be for 1 hour, and listening will be for 40 minutes. Listening, reading, and writing will be together for 2 hours and 40 minutes, and your speaking will be separate, which will be for 20 minutes. Now, because of the current situation, the speaking exam is conducted on a Zoom call. At least for me, when I gave it in August, it was conducted on a Zoom call. So it lasted for about 20 minutes for me. The listening, reading, and writing happened all together on the same day. To give you a brief about each section, since the examination rules change almost every year, the 2020 format of the examination was in the speaking section. They can ask you anything. They ask extremely random things. And so the speaking test is divided into 3 sections. The first section, they can ask you anything about yourself or your hometown or where you come from or the weather in your hometown, or what kind of a home do you like, what is your dream home, or your city, what kind of city do you come from, how populated is your city, anything. The section 2 in speaking is a section for 2 minutes where you are given 2 minutes and you're given a topic. You get 1 minute to think about that topic, and if you want to write down a few points on a paper, you can write. And then you have to speak continuously for 2 minutes without stopping on that topic. Section 3 in speaking is more about general topics, or it can also be a continuation of section 2 where they add more questions and ask you on question 2, or it can be a completely separate topic. Section 3 is more about giving your opinion or your suggestion to a certain related topic. Section 3 is where you should give more examples. You should really elaborate what you're saying, support it with more examples, and give your opinion on it, your suggestion, what you feel about a certain issue or a topic. In section 1, your answers do not have to be really long. Don't really stretch your answers. Be to the point. Answer what they're asking you, because in section 1, they are not really expecting you to give really long answers. In section 2, do not stop talking till they stop you. When they stop you means your 2 minutes are over, but if they don't stop you, then keep going on and on. They are not really seeing, or they're not really listening to what you're saying, or they're not removing any meaning out of it, but they're more concerned with whether you are struggling to find words. So if you continuously keep talking and keep speaking, they know that you are not really struggling for words and you know your English language. So keep going on and on. Even if you don't understand what you're saying, keep going on and on in section 2. There are so many topics in speaking that they can ask you from. You can always Google this. They have a lot of commonly asked topics in speaking that are available online. So check them out. Speaking, it's pretty easy. There's just talk like you're having a conversation with the examiner, and don't think or feel like you're giving an exam. Now, listening is for about 40 minutes. You're given your headphones and it's divided into 3 sections. They're going to give you a certain number of seconds to read the questions first, and then the listening will start. So as and when you're listening to the sentence, you keep filling in your answers. They're going to give you a blank paper and a pen, so either you can write it down, or if you're giving a computer based, you can always type it in. Listening is pretty easy. Just concentrate on what the person is saying. And something that helped me was I was reading the text that was given along with listening. So when you read, it just becomes easier for you to understand what is given in the text. At least it becomes easy for me. So I was reading along with what I was listening to. So that became really easy for me. Then was reading. Reading is a 1 hour section. They usually have match the columns, fill in the blanks, true and false. Reading became very easy giving it as the computer based, because they have this copy paste function, as I said earlier. So you know for sure that the answer that they're expecting is from the text. All you have to do is just find your word and then you copy paste it in your answer. Another thing is, don't waste too much time in section 1 in reading, because section 3 is usually the longest and takes the most amount of time. So don't waste a lot of time in reading each and every line, and skim through your paragraphs and find the answers. And then later, if you have time, you can always go back and recheck your answers, but do not waste a lot of time in the beginning, because that's what happened with me, and I had really less time in the end to finish my last section, but yet I managed. Skim through your answers. Don't read each and every word, because not everything is important from the text. You can quickly look at the answers first, so you know that what you're exactly looking for from the text. So briefly read the answers and then read your text. Very easy on a computer base, because I could highlight what I thought was important in the text, and then it was easier for me to go back and forth between the answers and the text. So usually how it shows on the screen is that on one side you have your text, which is your paragraph, and on the other side you have your answers. So you can read both together. It's not like you have to change your pages and go next for looking at the answers and then go back for the text. So everything is like side by side. So it becomes very easy for you to read the answers and then go back to the paragraph. That just became very easy. That was my doubt too before I gave the exam, that how will it look on the screen? Will I have to go back and go ahead and back, because that would have wasted a lot of time. So it was not like that. It was very comfortable. And the last section is the writing section, where there are two writing tasks. The first one is a letter. It can either be a formal letter or an informal letter. You have your word limit, word count that is given to you on the screen, and how many words they are expecting from you. So you can always easily calculate your words. Second task is your essay. So both these topics can be anything, but they're very basic and general topics. Only thing about writing is do not waste a lot of time on your writing task one, because when it comes to scoring, that has less weightage than your essay. Your essay holds more points. So I would suggest give more attention to your writing task too. And another thing that I feel about writing is that usually the scoring or the marking that happens in writing is not very lenient, because to score a 7.5 or an 8 in writing, it means that you're really, really good. Your reading and your listening are clerically marked because they are based on right and wrong answers. So for every right answer in reading and listening, you score 1 point. And for your speaking and your writing it's marked by an examiner. So that totally depends on the examiner. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. And it is a very easy. I mean, if you're a fluent English speaker, then you really don't have anything to worry. It is a very simple English exam. So there's nothing much that has changed from the past format to now. It is just that I think the number of sections have changed. Earlier there used to be 4 sections, and now there are 3 sections. So that's what has changed, but otherwise there's nothing major that has changed. Guys, if you have any more questions, you can write down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And yeah, I hope my sister is happy to see this video, because she has been telling me she's been wanting to give her IELTS exam, and she's been telling me, please shoot this video. So sweet of her, because I could have told her all of this myself, which I told her so many times that I can tell you all of this, I don't need to shoot a video. But she told me, she's like, no, she's like, there are so many people who are struggling, with how to prepare for the IELTS, and where to begin from, and what to do, and a lot of people have these kind of questions. I hope it helped you guys. And yeah, guys, until the next video, bye, take care.